Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today we bring you some news: William's rising power shock, Camilla with his daring decision amid King Charles's bad health. An insider source claims that, due to King Charles's deteriorating health, Prince William has made significant decisions to restructure royal operations, prompting Queen Consort Camilla to worry and intervene in his actions. This video will cover Prince William's actions to assume the throne in light of his father's significant health issues. Within the resident halls of Buckingham Palace, a nuanced but evident strain has started to disrupt the customary facade of royal propriety. At 76, King Charles III is the oldest king to reach the British throne, having long borne the burden of centuries of history, ritual, and anticipation. Since he officially revealed his cancer diagnosis in February 2024 and had a short hospitalization in March 2025, inquiries on the continuity of his reign have escalated from whispered gossip among palace staff to prominent headlines. Central to those inquiries is whether his oldest son, Prince William, is prepared to inherit not merely titles, but also the substantial duties of monarchy. Insiders now indicate that William is assuming a de facto regency, undertaking responsibilities formerly designated for his father, as Charles contends with sickness privately. Simultaneously, Queen Camilla, having finally achieved her long-held aspiration to be Queen Consort, has allegedly reacted with indignation to these events, admonishing William unequivocally, "You will never be a king." The turmoil inside the royal household illustrates a larger theme of duty, conflicting with ambition, tradition contending with change, and the inherent vulnerabilities that affect even the most resilient organizations. From high-stakes individual conflicts to the subtle reallocation of palace personnel, each action and choice provides insight into the potential future of the monarchy under the leadership of William and his spouse, Catherine, Princess of Wales. To comprehend this crucial juncture, one must examine the nuanced transitions, from the public engagements he now oversees to the causes he advocates, and assess them in light of the tangible apprehension experienced by people who worry that the monarchy's meticulously orchestrated equilibrium may devolve into overt discord. Prior to the emergence of health concerns at Buckingham Palace, advisors acknowledged that Charles's elderly age upon his arrival required careful succession planning. Ultimately, he ascended to the throne at an age when several monarchs often acclimated to the deliberate tempo of later life, rather than undertaking the fresh responsibilities of sovereignty. As stories of Charles's cancer treatment emerged, the preparations advanced expeditiously behind the scenes. Shortly after the king's illness in March 2025, William discreetly selected an experienced diplomat as his private secretary, an unequivocal indication of his readiness for expanded duties. Palace insiders now depict a situation in which William is assigned more responsibility for the crown's daily operations, welcoming foreign ambassadors, overseeing ceremonial tree plantings, and heading the United Kingdom's presence at significant international forums. Despite Buckingham Palace's assertion that no formal regency or resignation is imminent, courtiers acknowledge a change in the mood. Acknowledgement exists, as reported by a close observer, that William may need to ascend to the throne sooner than anticipated. The king has expressed his desire to serve for as long as possible, yet sickness creates an element of uncertainty. This situation seems to reflect William's preparedness, while also posing a challenge to the institution he would eventually govern. He has always shown a desire for reform, an idea embodied in his often repeated remark on a smaller r in the royal. His time as Prince of Wales has been characterized by a readiness to mitigate the monarchy's most antiquated aspects, to reduce ceremonial practices, and to promote openness. In 2023, he conspicuously rejected a lavish investiture ceremony to commemorate his title, choosing instead a modest proclamation, an extraordinary decision that established the norm for his forthcoming rule. That same ethos has directed his approach in public encounters. Instead of participating in numerous ribbon cuttings and social events, William has concentrated on a select few prominent initiatives, including the launch of his ambitious Homewards program aimed at eradicating homelessness and the Earthshot Prize Awards that engage global innovators in addressing climate change. Each event is selected for its potential influence and is promoted using contemporary platforms: YouTube highlights, Instagram stories, and unscripted video snippets that provide unexpected closeness to the royal brand. Technology is integral to William's conception of a modern monarchy. Together with Catherine, he has overseen the most media-savvy royal presence in recent history, sometimes circumventing conventional palace communication methods to disseminate refined, self-produced movies that commemorate philanthropic achievements. On one occasion, the pair released film of Catherine's recovery from a severe illness without obtaining the king's approval, a decision that palace traditionalists saw as a significant indication of changing power relations. In a demonstration of hands-on empathy, William once wore a vendor's vest and baseball hat to sell copies of The Big Issue on a London street, collecting contactless payments from passers-by in a moment of genuine solidarity with the homeless. The viral incident emphasized his conviction that contemporary royals should visibly participate in genuine jobs alongside the populace they represent. Despite his progressive inclinations, William does not treat the monarchy's legacy with indifference. He continues to wear ceremonial attire for Trooping the Color, observes profound silence during Remembrance Sunday services, and executes traditional procedures like the Accession Council oath with utmost reverence for their significance. His aristocratic demeanor at state dinners and his talent for theatrics when necessary demonstrate a profound respect for the institutional continuity he embodies. A former courtier said that William embodies the dutifulness of Queen Elizabeth II and the idealism of King Charles, while also integrating the compassionate warmth traditionally associated with Diana, Princess of Wales. The outcome is an uncommon fusion of grave tradition and individual authenticity, factors that William believes would characterize a successful contemporary ruler. Central to William's plan is fostering support among younger generations, for whom the monarchy's significance has never been certain. Alongside his covert efforts addressing homelessness, he has prioritized mental health in his public endeavors. William has promoted open discourse on mental illness via the Heads Together initiative, initiated in collaboration with Catherine and originally including Prince Harry, leveraging his experiences of loss and pain. In a widely disseminated open letter, he expressed concern that 1 in 5 children will encounter a mental health issue before their 11th birthday, advocating for families to discuss emotions with the same candor that they address physical health. There are widespread rumors that William surreptitiously volunteered on a crisis text line to gain a personal understanding of the challenges faced by callers. Regardless of its authenticity, the narrative strengthens his portrayal as a monarch determined to dismantle the boundaries between the crown and its subjects. Education is also a significant aspect of William's portfolio of causes. He consistently underscores that information is the ultimate equalizer, collaborating with educational institutions from Pakistan to Belize on initiatives that stress the significance of literacy, vocational training, and girls' education. Numerous individuals inside the royal sphere anticipate that he will use the crown's soft power to stimulate educational improvements globally among Commonwealth countries. Royal historian Robert Lacey has noted that William and Catherine's generation, influenced by international education, internet connectedness, and worldwide travel, recognizes the monarchy's capacity to illuminate critical societal concerns. For William, education, mental health, environmental protection, and poverty reduction provide an integrated framework for a purpose-driven monarchy, harmonizing humanitarian fervor with the grave responsibilities of governance. No domain exemplifies William's changing perspective more vividly than environmental stewardship. Inheriting the environmentalist legacy of his grandfather, Prince Philip, and reflecting his father's environmental initiatives, William established the Earthshot Prize in 2020, pledging £50 million over 10 years to promote ideas that restore the world. Annual award ceremonies in places ranging from Boston to Singapore have evolved into global climate summits, attracting heads of state, scientists, and young activists. Private sources reveal that William has instructed the royal family to adopt sustainable practices, curtail unnecessary expenses, and steer clear of private jet travel whenever possible. A staff member said, "The era of traveling in fuel-inefficient processions has concluded. We are currently operating a sustainable corporation." William's steadfast commitment to environmental concerns not only tackles a pressing global catastrophe, but also reinforces the monarchy's significance to younger generations for whom climate change poses an existential threat. These initiatives to modernize and adapt coincide with a concerted attempt to simplify the royal family. Charles indicated early in his reign his goal for a more streamlined monarchy, which William has adopted. Currently, the cohort of working royals has diminished, leaving a core group handling official duties. Individuals who attract controversy, most notably Prince Andrew, have been discreetly omitted from significant occasions, resulting in a marked diminishment of their public visibility. In a decisive action, William allegedly threatened to abstain from a formal engagement should Andrew attend, unequivocally signaling that scandal would no longer be allowed during his forthcoming reign. Furthermore, his and Catherine's 2022 move from Kensington Palace to the unassuming Adelaide Cottage on the Windsor estate, along with their sporadic commercial flights, sent a clear message that the incoming generation would prioritize financial frugality above the trappings of privilege. That same principle directs William's strategy toward royal money. In light of heightened public scrutiny about taxpayer-funded benefits, he has mandated a comprehensive assessment of palace finances, directing aides to eliminate any excess without delay. Extravagant state dinners are being reduced, and staff-to-task ratios are being optimized using contemporary management techniques. A source likened the palace's internal transformation to a business restructuring. It is no longer a household, it is an enterprise. Every pound expended must justify its expenditure. For William, a fiscally responsible monarchy is not only pragmatic, it is vital for sustaining public confidence and preserving the institution's endurance against increasing inequality. While William constructs his interpretation of the crown, Queen Camilla has not remained a passive spectator. After decades of waiting to assume her position alongside Charles, she allegedly perceives any discussion of an early transfer of power as a direct challenge to her authority. Friends assert that she cherishes her responsibilities and is certain that Charles should maintain complete power for as long as feasible. In private confrontations, Camilla reportedly admonished William with incisive remarks, a whispered ultimatum asserting that he will never be a king. Although royal spokespersons neither confirm nor reject the precise wording, there is consensus that tensions have escalated inside the palace. Camilla has cultivated supporters inside the royal household. Conversely, William has discreetly reallocated some individuals, therefore cementing his support network. The Queen Consort has urged Charles to provide substantial arrangements for her as a future Dowager Queen, including a comfortable house at Royal Lodge, a significant stipend, and ongoing staff privileges. Both Camilla and William are strategically positioning themselves to safeguard their futures, each believing that their claim is both legitimate and overdue. Notwithstanding these underlying tensions, both factions acknowledge that a public familial conflict would be catastrophic. During formal occasions, Camilla and William retain a gracious demeanor, exchanging polite smiles and calculated niceties. However, body language specialists see a noticeable coolness whenever they occupy the same platform. Within the silent royal halls, aides acknowledge a precarious truce. Each faction observes the other with caution, ready to exploit any chance while remaining vigilant to preserve the institution they collectively serve. For the typical viewer, the narrative emerges as a nearly Shakespearean exploration of authority, heritage, and character, though with diminished swordplay and an abundance of red boxes containing classified documents. Aside from court intrigue, popular sentiment on William's emerging reign is divided. Surveys routinely indicate that younger generations have a more favorable opinion of him compared to his father, with over half of respondents previously expressing a preference for William over Charles for immediate succession. Nonetheless, there exists much admiration for Charles, whose consistent, although modest leadership has garnered him real respect. Republican supporters, meanwhile, use any hint of dynastic intrigue as proof that the monarchy is an outdated, undemocratic relic. Protesters have vociferously confronted William on the streets of London and at prominent events chanting, "Not my king! You will never ascend to the throne!" Scenes such as these, documented and disseminated on social media, highlight that for many individuals, the concern is not who occupies the monarchy, but rather whether a throne should exist altogether. Constitutional scholars say that, barring a significant deterioration in Charles's health, no formal changeover will take place prematurely. The Regency Acts include procedures for selecting a regent in the event of a monarch's incapacitation. Nevertheless, palace representatives emphasize that such measures would be used only as a last option. Currently, a dual-track monarchy is emerging. Charles retains the title of king, but William functions as the de facto head of state. The meticulous choreography guarantees consistency, even as the audience becomes used to seeing William assume tasks formerly designated for the king. Numerous prominent instances have solidified the perception that William is functioning like a monarch in waiting. Upon Charles revealing his ongoing cancer treatment in late 2024, William emerged to comfort the public, conveying a poignant video message that emphasized his father's fortitude and reinforced the cohesion of the royal family. His talk at COP26 in 2021, accompanying Charles, transitioned into a solo statement on climate action that was widely considered a transfer of environmental leadership. The initiation of the Homewards Homelessness Initiative in 2023, accompanied by an ITV documentary, established William as the emblem of empathetic leadership. The refusal of a traditional investiture ceremony and the commitment to a modest coronation have come to symbolize a new epoch, one where symbolism is subordinate to content, and the grandeur of monarchy is assessed by the enhancement of lives rather than the luster of crowns. As this gradual change accelerates, royal observers analyze every public engagement, every personnel decision, and every statement from Clarence House for insights into the monarchy's future. Will Charles defy expectations and uphold his rule for a longer duration, thus providing William with a prolonged apprenticeship? Will the certainty of sickness truncate the process, precipitating the ascension of King William and Queen Catherine earlier than anticipated? History has examples of both prolonged reigns and sudden transitions. However, these have never occurred in an era more sensitive to media narratives, social media scrutiny, and popular sentiment. The stakes are unprecedented. The next sovereign must exemplify continuity while still exhibiting adaptation in a swiftly changing environment. The crown's objective is to maintain stability via evolution rather than disruption. Charles's dedication to service, William's aspiration for modernity, and Camilla's resolve to protect her queenship each exemplify distinct aspects of the same institution, one that must reconcile respect for history with the need to be relevant. The monarchy's endurance relies on its capacity to assimilate these contradictions into a cohesive leadership framework that maintains popular confidence. A former royal staffer said, "We are witnessing history unfold in real time, part diplomacy, part familial conflict, all under the scrutinizing gaze of the global audience." The account of Britain's royal succession is now being chronicled via daily updates, broadcast events, and viral social media occurrences. Every tree planted, every charity established, and every staff reorganization is a chapter in that continuous narrative, a subtle transfer of responsibility executed in the most visible and meticulously coordinated fashion possible. Upon the arrival of the last chapter, it may seem both abrupt and predetermined, the product of years of preparation, influenced by circumstance, and directed by the collective belief that the crown persists via renewal. Until that time, William navigates a delicate balance between son and ruler, bearing the destiny of one of the world's oldest monarchies in his hands. In the silent hallways of the palace, the murmurs behind him intensify. The forthcoming rule is imminent. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.